Welcome to Romance Roundup's weekly recap reviews of Crave original TV series Heated Rivalry, based on Rachel Reid's best-selling hockey romance. I am Liz Donatelli.
And I'm Libby K, author of the romance series Pine Grove FD. The first 3 books are available now.
Watch Romance Roundup on Reader Seeks Romance channel and subscribe on YouTube. Listen to Romance Roundup on PodBean and all podcast apps. Follow us on Instagram at Libby K Author and at Reader Seeks Romance. Before we dive into our recap of episode 3, titled Hunter, I wanted to read a YouTube comment from one of our viewers at My Beloved Is Mine M8T. They looked up or researched about the sea lion song,
yes,
which we talked about quite a bit in our first recap, and I even cut a Instagram promo about it. What is the significance of the sea lion song as it pertains to Shane and Ilya's relationship? So this is a quote from at My Beloved Is Mine M8T. The sea lion song actually has a fascinating history. According to its Wikipedia page, it's a traditional African-American song that was first recorded in 1939 and doesn't have anything to do with sea lions. Sea lion is a corruption of sea, S-E-E, line, L-I-N-E, sea lion, S-E-E-L-Y-I-N, or she lion, S-H-E-L-Y-I-N. And the song is about sailors coming into port and the female prostitutes waiting for them, their different colored dresses denoting the service they offered. Nina Simone released a recording of it called Sea Line, S-E-E-L-I-N-E, Woman, which this is a cover of. And the version that we hear in Heated Rivalry is by Canadian artist Feist and was released in 2009, the year before Shane and Ilya's first hookup, so it ties in nicely. So yeah, I'm sure we could go even further down the sea line rabbit hole. But yeah, so thank you to our viewer for providing us with that information.
Seriously, that's really interesting. And I like Nina Simone's music, and so maybe this is something I've heard before, and it just never, hit since it was a remix. And I had no idea that Feist was Canadian, so I learned that today as well.
I have to say right off the bat, one, the acting in this series exceeds expectations.
It's so good.
And the sex scenes in this particular episode are fucktastic.
I agree. No notes.
I know that you love Shane and Ilya as a couple. I know you love the book Heated Rivalry. I did not read the first book with Scott and Kip, which is Game Changers. OG, the OG fangirl right here.
Yep, for those of you who are listening and not watching, I have the original, again, mass market paperback for Game Changer. Because you could only, again, this is going to make me sound ancient. It wasn't that long ago. But when the series first came out, you could only get print for this one and then Shane and Ilya's 2 books. You couldn't get the other 3 in print. So I had to use my trusty neighborhood library, and I did audio for the other ones. Awesome. And then obviously, I think it was earlier last year, the trade paperbacks of the whole series came out in the rebranding. So yeah, I love this book. I will say, I didn't have enough time since watching it on Saturday. I was going to do a reread because I've only read the first book once, which is normal for most people. But with this series, it's like, what do you mean you only read it once?
Yeah, for you, that's unusual. For you, I'm shocked that you only read it once.
Yeah, but and again, we'll go into detail. I was pleasantly surprised. I had purposefully stayed off of social media on Friday because I didn't get a chance to watch it till Saturday. And I had accidentally seen one person's comment who had never read the books, who was upset that Shane and Ilya really weren't in the episode. And then I got super excited since I've read all the other books, and I'm like, oh my God, are we actually going to get more of Kip and Scott? And yes, so I have many thoughts. I'm dying to know, Liz, as someone who hasn't read the book yet. I mean, I know you liked it, but tell us why you liked it.
Why I like this episode. First of all, this is a romance story that immediately is appealing to what I like to read right now, which
Mhm.
is not the enemies to lovers quasi toxic relationship, but a really sweet, meet cute, relatable conflict where there's, it's not anything over the top. It's a very simple story, accepting your own identity and claiming the life you deserve. So I just thought like everything about their relationship is so like sweet and wholesome and at the same time very, very sexual.
Mhm.
But Ilya and Shane, even though I know eventually they grow to really love each other, getting there is just a little bit, like, oh, kind of toxic to some degree. And, it's a lot of mind fuckery. And this is just a
Mhm.
plain, simple story. And this is, I believe, the catalyst for then, because eventually Scott does, at the end of Game Changers, does he come out or is it?
Mhm.
Okay, he does
Yep.
come out and, which opens the door for Shane and Ilya
Yes.
and their stories are interwoven like timeline wise, correct?
Yes, they are. And you actually get a lot, well, not a lot more, but you do get a lot more Ilya than Shane in Game Changers. There's different scenes with them interacting. And I will say, not to like jump ahead, but you know me,
Yeah.
I love to jump. Um, what did you think of the two little cameos we had of Shane and Ilya? I thought that Ilya's was on brand, no notes, and Shane's, while adorable with him trying to get like all feisty, I felt like it was out of character for him, and I was curious what you thought because I don't remember that from the book Game Changer, and I don't feel like it matches the interactions we've seen so far in the series with Scott and Shane. So I'm just curious on
Yeah.
your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because it kind of immediately like there's like a mental red flag that pops up that's like this doesn't seem like this seems out of place. This does not seem
Yes.
right. But then I said, well, I don't remember what happened in Heated Rivalry. Was there an altercation or an almost physical fight between Shane and Scott on the ice? So I was like, wait a second, like I must just not remember. But if you don't even recall it, does this mean they're tweaking Shane's demeanor in the second half of the series? Like, are they going to make him a little bit more aggressive?
I'm wondering that, and I'm also wondering if instead of him being more aggressive, is there going to be, and I don't want to use the word antagonizing, but that's the only word that I can
Mm,
think of with him and Scott, because Scott's making comments in the previous episodes, your boy Ilya, well, why is he my boy? They're back and forth.
yeah,
I don't remember in Heated Rivalry any back and forth. Like it was such a secret, and when they have their moment, and I won't spoil anything with that, it's a surprise to most people. So that's why I'm surprised that they're having these moments where Scott is not ribbing him, but making comments about them having a connection. It seems to go beyond, their rivalry on the ice. And I don't know if that's going to be a plot point later or if this is just a way for the writers to integrate Shane and Ilya even just for a moment in the episode. But it just for Shane, it just felt out of character. And I
it
watched with
did.
my husband. God bless him. He's just like, I'll keep watching it. So he loved this episode. He's just like this one for him, since he hadn't read the books, he's like, this just felt like more of a complete story arc, or at least the beginning of a complete story arc.
Yeah.
But the first thing he said when we were done is, he's like, I don't know anything about this, but that doesn't seem in character for Shane. And I'm like, thank you.
It didn't. It didn't. Now, the only thing I could think of is that it was added to give us some perspective that at this point in the timeline, it was Shane's whole personality was starting to be affected or by Ilya because of how much they were involved with each other. Because
Hmm.
that's what set him off is that Scott said, "Oh, you're getting just like him. You're getting just like
Yes.
Ilya." I don't even know if he said his name or just like, "Oh, you're getting just like him." And Shane was so like, "Oh no, I can't be," because he doesn't want his secret out. Um,
Hmm.
and that set him off. So I guess that was just to kind of tip us off into at what point this was occurring in Shane and Ilya's relationship, and that we're seeing Shane is really falling in deep with him. I guess that was the point.
I think that's a
But
really good point. That might be this episode's equivalent of the Sasha scene with Ilya, where we couldn't see his internal dialogue, but at least it's like a touchstone
right.
for what's happening with the other storyline. So, no, I like
Yes.
that a lot. I think you're
Yeah.
right.
I'll be honest. If the rest of this season was just Scott and Kip,
I
I
know.
would
They're
love it.
so sweet. I can't handle it.
Oh my God. They like, I can't, okay, so I think that Connor, who plays Ilya, and
hmm
Hudson, who plays Shane, are really excellent actors.
hmm
I feel like Francois Arnault, who plays Scott,
God. hmm
is even better. Like,
Oh my God. For both of them, the emotion and just like the little facial expressions, and I've
yes,
only watched it twice because again, life. But the scene where Scott comes home in his hoodie and Kip is on the couch studying with his glasses on. What a cute little, I love little
yes.
glasses scenes. But when he tackles him on the couch, there's like a half a second where you see Scott's face and there's just a smile. Like it's nothing, it's very intimate, it's very tender. And I'm just like, damn these actors. Like the casting again, like give, I don't know what the Canadian Emmy is, but give whoever did the casting for the series 10 of them because every single character just so far has just knocked it out of the park with, emoting and expressions. And it's just like my heart was literally
Mhm.
breaking at the end of this episode. I could not handle it. And I know what happens, and I still couldn't handle it.
So Scott and Kip, their love story is in Game Changers, which is the name of the first book and of the whole series. I think
hmm
everyone just thinks it's the Heated Rivalry series. Heated Rivalry again is book 2 for anyone who doesn't know. I love when you see timelines, how they connect to the other person's story. So we open at the Olympics back
hmm
in February 2014 at Sochi, which was that a real Olympic in
Yes,
2014?
it really
Okay.
was there. I think it was in, yeah, because 2012 was in London. So yeah, 14 would have been in Sochi.
Okay. I was like, I don't even know if this is a real Olympic year. So yeah, and that was the scene at which, well, first of all, what is the name of that other hockey player, the other American?
Oh shoot. Was it Murphy?
Is it? They
Is it
literally
Murphy?
have
Hold
not,
on.
they don't name him.
Carter Vaughn, because
Oh,
he calls him Vonnie, I think.
oh, okay. So Carter Vaughn and Scott and Shane are in this cafe in at the Olympics. Carter mentions about how brave it is for Shane's friend Jay, the ice skater, to be openly gay in athletics because that's a tough road. And you kind of see like Shane's quiet and then Scott's quiet. And in the first episode, in the second episode, Olympians, then you take from there you see Shane's journey. But
Yes.
now in the episode Hunter, you take that scene and then you follow Scott Hunter. 4 months earlier, he had started up with Kip. The only thing that's a little bit much, and I know they do it in the book and it's easier when you're reading it, but man, there's so much time jumping. So you start in
Yes.
2014, then it's 4 months earlier, then it's Boston 2 days later, then it's Montreal one day later, then
Yeah.
you're in New York. I mean, you kind of all over the place. But that's when you see the meet cute. And Kip is a smoothie barista. Is that how
hmm
you would describe
Yep. And I love that they kept that first scene. I didn't sit down and read it through the book, but when I picked up the book and page through, it's pretty much exactly how I remembered it and is very close to the book. Like,
really?
I love that because I remember him with his art history book and kind of dozing. And it was the same thing with Scott clearing his throat. Like, I love that they didn't change that scene because it was just very like,
Right.
you get such a, you already know what's going on with Kip in like a half a second and it's perfect.
This scene, if it is, as you say, written pretty much word for word, it is a brilliant scene from a craft perspective for a
hmm
meet cute.
Yes.
It is just it's perfect. Like I think writing people who are want to become romance authors and they write like study these scenes, read Rachel Reid because man, the furtive glances like they're
hmm
giving each other when Scott walks in to order a smoothie. What exactly is Kip interested in art? Because you see him looking at art, he's applying to grad school to
He's a student and he's applying to grad schools because I think he wants to be a professor. And art history is his focus. Like that is a
right.
huge part of his identity, which is why throughout the episode he's sending out applications and he keeps, we'll get to that later, but his dad is one of my favorite. The way they
Oh,
put him on, like Chef's Kiss, no notes. I loved him, and I think he might have had a mom in the book. I can't remember. It's been a little while, but
okay.
I remember the relationship with the dad as soon as the dad was on the screen, I'm like, hell yes, please make him a good person like in the book because he was pretty much what we saw on screen. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's Kip's whole shtick. Like for Scott, it's hockey, and for Kip, it's
it's
working
art.
all these jobs to go to school for art history.
Right. There is fabulous banter, and I wanted just to pick out one line where they're talking about this smoothie. It's called Blue Moon over Brooklyn, which
Hmm.
has blueberries in it. And Kip mentions about how adding banana makes, he adds banana, it's really tasty. So Scott drinks it and says how good it is. And that's when Kip says the banana makes a big difference. And then
Hmm.
he like makes a face to himself as to why would I say that?
Yeah, the banana makes a big difference, I think.
And I just want to say that in that moment, I immediately thought, this is Kip's I carried a watermelon moment from Dirty Dancing.
Yes, 100% no notes agree. That is such a good comparison.
Because he made a face as if to say the banana makes a bit like why would I say that? And there's a lot of banana euphemisms,
Hmm.
the one his coworker a few times after Scott keeps coming in, she's like, oh, extra banana,
Yeah.
don't forget the extra banana. I just thought there was humor and there was longing. There's such a yearning coming from Scott
Yes.
throughout this whole episode. You're like, I just want him to be happy.
I know, I know.
Happy.
And that, of course, because it's Rachel Reid, comes through in the book. Needless to say, I will start rereading this immediately as soon as we're done recording because I just need to. I know what happens,
Yeah.
obviously, but I kind of miss some of the nuance with it,
Yeah.
and I can't remember. I know there was other scenes that happened before what we've seen, or
Yeah.
interwoven within it. I'm just I need that extra content. So, needless to say, I'm going back to the book, and probably
Yeah.
by the time we record the next episode, I will have read the whole thing because I need a
Yeah.
life.
Well, I wanted to because at one point, I'm going to say we're three-quarters into the episode when they mentioned that it's been 2 months since they've been together. And
Hmm.
they obviously, I mean, by the end of this episode, they've exchanged I love yous. And I'm like, how much time has passed? And they said earlier 2 months. So I was like, I really want to read the book so I
Hmm.
could get more of the internal love blooming because you could see it, but it's a different story when you read when they start having loving feelings for each other and then eventually say, I love you. The serial killer conversations that they have in jest, is that from the book? Do they have this like banter about serial killers?
I don't remember that in the book. It doesn't mean it's not there, but I loved it because you know that like true crime is my second hobby. I almost said, wait, that sounds wrong. It's my second hobby. I know this sounds so twisted, but murder is my favorite of the comfort crimes.
Oh, that clip right there, that's going to be a reel.
Yeah. I don't remember it from the book, but I absolutely loved it. I thought again, it added to the banter. I will report back if it is in the book when I do my
Okay.
reread. But
Okay. Yes,
no,
please do.
absolutely loved it, and I loved that it kept coming up when in a later scene.
Basically, the rest of this episode is Scott and Kip going on these secret clandestine dates and having the most not wild but like intense sexual encounters.
Yes, yes. The chemistry, honestly, I think in some ways is there was just something, and again, I think it's because of, and I hate to use the word trope, but I feel like it's because of the trope that it's more organic that they met and they're falling in love, and
Yeah,
it's yes, they're in hiding like Shane and Elia, but it's not this like, oh, we have to worry about our image and our relationship to each other as well. It's for Scott, it's just he's
right,
closeted, he doesn't want to be, etc.
right.
So yeah, I think that there's just something about, like I said, that scene where he like jumps on him on the couch
Oh my
melts my
god.
heart. Like all the scenes of
Yeah,
them together were just again, there's intimacy. It's sexy as sin, but it's also just so intimate and tender, and you can see. I mean, to be a fly on the wall for the chemistry reads for these actors, my God, like. Can you imagine? Forget it. Again, no notes. I am continuously blown away by the show because and I know I mentioned this last time, you read a series, you become obsessed with it, and you're like, oh, there's no way it's going to be good. It was so good. And I was actually kind of pissed I didn't know that this episode was going to be all of them because I would have reread it ahead of time. But, whatever.
I know. Well, now I feel motivated to start reading other books in the series because there's no doubt in my mind that
Well,
they're going to have more series
and
seasons.
Kyle is one of the leads in a future book, The Bartender. part of Kip's found family.
Okay, you know what's funny is that, as you know, I have not read the rest of the series, just Heated Rivalry, and I said to myself, wait a second, isn't Kyle somebody? Like when they mentioned Kyle the bartender at what's his name?
Kingfisher.
Yeah, at the Kingfisher, which is Kip's local bar where he hangs out with his friends.
I mean,
Yeah,
he plays, I'm not going to say a damn thing. I'm just going to say he has
don't.
his own book down the road, and I'm
Okay,
going to shut up because I don't know what they're doing for the rest of this season. I will say,
okay,
having just spent, what, 2 minutes praising the casting, that is not at all how I pictured Kyle at all, physically.
yeah,
So, like,
right.
personality wise, yes, but there was something physically. I felt like he was a blonde, maybe with glasses, or maybe I don't think I'm confusing my books, but I don't remember
Yeah.
him being, I don't remember him looking like that, which again, whatever, I'm fine with it. But when he said his name, because
But
when
are
I
you?
saw him, I thought that's not going to be Kyle. And then they called him Kyle. And I'm like, what the hell is this? I'm excited to see what they do with Kyle.
Right, right. Yeah, I am too. I was so deeply touched by the fact that after their first sexual encounter, all Scott wanted was for Kip just to be there all the time. Like
Yeah.
Kip was
Yeah.
getting ready to go. He's like, "Yeah, I'll get out of your hair." He's like, "Will you stay? I want you to be." And he was saying exactly what he wanted, which he
Hmm.
gives a little speech about how difficult or how he had to spend time getting to the point where he could ask for what he
Hmm.
wanted. And then, like the night after, he just like when Kip's making a smoothie for him, Scott like grabs Kip in his arms and starts walking around
Yes.
the kitchen with him.
Yes.
And I wrote, what did I put down? Scott picks him up, walks him around, and asks, "Can I you?" And Kip's like, "Absolutely." And I'm like,
Hell yeah!
This is one of my
yes,
favorite
yeah.
scenes.
Every time there's any type of direct, like, "Can I fuck you?" It sounds, as I'm saying it, like lascivious and, predatory, like, "Can I fuck you?" It's said in such the sweetest, most
Yes.
authentic, genuine way.
Yes. And just the way like he scoops him up and just manhandles him, it's just so cute. Like I just,
Yes.
oh my God. No, I love that part too. God, this show, it's killing me.
Yeah.
It's literally
I
killing me.
I hope all these actors are having sex with each other in real life.
God, if only. I mean, good for them.
So I want to talk about Elena, Kip's friend, who I love. Does Elena
Yes.
have
She
like
is
a
in the book.
Yeah, she is in the book. Okay. Oh my God, Elena is just straight up like, hey, you
Yeah.
can't live like this. You obviously love this guy. What's going on? She has this great talk with Scott at a fundraiser. And it happened to be a fundraiser connected to Elena, Kip's friend. So they're all there. The gang's all there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I was looking into it, but Elena and Scott dance, and during that time, she's like grilling him, like, "What are your
Yes.
intentions towards Kip?" And what I got out of that scene, looking at Scott, looking at the two of them dance, was that feeling of frustration and just grief over the fact that he couldn't be the one dancing with him.
Yes,
And it
I
was
got
like,
that too.
and Elena, because she's a woman and it's acceptable in the audience's eyes, the guests' eyes, that she danced with him. It's like he couldn't be himself. He couldn't be with him and dance with it was, I thought it was just so like deeply poignant,
Yes.
like the whole scene.
Yes. And how he walks up and pretends like, oh, it's Kip, right? Like they couldn't even come up and be like, hey man,
Oh,
nice. They couldn't even pretend to be friends.
yeah.
So it was just, and then to immediately go to the scene in Scott's kitchen where they're talking about Kip's birthday. And Kip starts talking, and Scott's like, no, Kip, and he kind of is starting to shake his head. And I'm just like, oh God, no. Like I knew it was going to happen, but I'm like, oh God, no.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew he wasn't going to go that far. So then we're to believe, although we know there's a happy ending for them eventually, at the end of this episode, Kip basically is like, "Listen, I don't want to keep lying to my family, and this isn't really for me," and kind of walks. He's like, "I'm leaving," because he had been kind of a kept man for a while
Yeah.
at the New York penthouse, I guess. Is it New York? I think they're in New York,
Yes, I
right?
think
Yeah.
it's supposed to be like the equivalent of the Rangers, I think, or the
Oh,
Islanders, but one of those.
okay. Well, there's two. Okay, yeah, the Rangers are the Islanders. So yeah, so Kip goes home and is really upset, and his dad, Mr. Best Dad Ever, is
Mhm.
hugging him and comforting him. And then that last scene, man, when you see him celebrating his birthday, and apparently he got a full scholarship to grad school that was
Yes.
mentioned. And he just
Yes.
turned 26 for anyone who's wondering, how old are these characters? And you just see, the back of like Scott's head watching from
Mhm.
outside.
Mhm.
Although I don't know how anyone can't see him just watching them
I
from
know,
the
I know.
window. But yeah, it's just the saddest thing. So I want just to see the rest of their story. I kind of almost don't want to go back. I'm not ready to go back to Ilya and Shane's story yet. I
It
want,
feels,
you know,
yeah, it feels kind of like, okay, and I don't know if you watched this show, but this is the first thing I thought when the show or this episode was over. Did you ever watch The Last of Us, the first season?
So actually, my husband did watch The Last of Us. He
Yes.
was watching. I had no interest because this is based on a video game, right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
I'm not a video game person. My husband never played this game, but he's aware of the gaming world, and
Yeah.
we both at the time were craving a end of the world apocalyptic show. But for the
Yes.
first season, the first two episodes are, setting up the two main characters, their journey into the apocalypse. And then all of a sudden, episode three, just like with this one, starts, and it's totally different characters. And you're like, what the hell is going on? Because the main characters are only mentioned briefly. And obviously, the storylines are totally different. But that was one of the most poignant, romantic, sweet, and heartbreaking episodes of any show I've ever seen. That episode ended, and I was watching it with my husband. We didn't speak for like 2 hours. It was so like I can't, and that's one of those things. It was one of the most, like, honest to God, top 10 episodes of any TV show in my life. Like, everything about it. Nick Offerman knocked my socks off. But the way that the episode was, which it felt like kind of like a splash of cold water when you realize we're not getting any Shane and Elia. But then you're also like, wait, I'm halfway into this and I don't care. Like, I am so, like, give me all of Kip and Scott. But I'm curious if anyone else out there who has watched both shows kind of had that same feeling because since watching it and again talking with my husband and a couple friends who have also watched the show, that's the first thing we all thought about was like it's not the same type of show, but like third
Mhm.
episode, you're kind of in this mindset. You're like, bring on, more of that, and then it's like total 180. So I'm curious to see if we're gonna see them at all in the fourth episode because we know that the episode name of the last episode is The Cottage and Scott and Kip are very instrumental in that entire episode or scene happening. So I feel like we got to see them in episode five. So I'm wondering if we're not going to see them in episode four.
So the title for episode 5 is I'll Believe in Anything.
Oh my God, then it's totally, they'll totally be back in episode five then.
Okay. Okay. Oh
Okay.
God, I just got goosebumps.
Oh my
Okay.
God, I'm so excited. Oh, and I know you can't wish your life away, but damn it, I'm wishing my life away to next Friday already.
Now, did you notice? I noticed because there were some scenes of Scott going downtown on Kip. And I was like, you know what? I can actually see it. So the lighting we believe was fixed, correct?
Yes, I haven't gone back to watch the first two episodes again, believe it or not. But all signs that I've seen online are that HBO improved the lighting. So yeah, I mean, I felt like you could actually see the actors this time,
Yeah.
which was a huge improvement. And I felt like the one scene where they were kind of backlit, that was the point, so I didn't think anything of it.
Right.
But yeah, no, I thought the lighting was a heck of a lot better. I thought the soundtrack with the music choices was perfect. I don't. Were there obviously last time, there was the water and the heavy breathing and everything. Were there any sounds that stuck out to you in this episode? I don't remember feeling this episode felt like I was the one making the noises because it was just like breaking my freaking heart. And it was sad with I mean there was obviously sad moments with Shane and Ilya, but there's just something about
Yeah.
this. It was just like ripping my freaking heart out. Every scene, I'm just like, oh God, these two.
The only note I have about music that was not complimentary
Oh,
was at the beginning as Scott is jogging down a New York City street and you hear the sports news commentary in the
mhm.
background kind of giving us an idea of what's been going on, which is he's been in some kind of a slump. I wrote down he's jogging to loud, jarring music. I don't know. It was kind of loud. And then later on, while he was doing something, I was like, I can't hear. I had to rewind it. I was like, I can't hear what he's saying. Oh, it was Kip was on the phone talking to his dad while he was watching television. I was like, I can't hear him. Would they turn down the music? So I don't know if that's just me or not.
I had to turn on subtitles, but I usually have subtitles on.
I did too. I had to turn them on. I was trying to go without, and I turned them on. So I do still think that some of the music is loud, and I don't know if that's purposely done for a reason. But yeah, no, it was a fantastic episode. I actually was hoping that there were things I didn't like about it, so I'd have more to say. But
I know. Well,
just like in book club, right? We have the best
Exactly.
conversations when we hate the book.
yeah, no, but it was as soon as it was done, because my first thought was, I hoped you didn't hate it because I'm like, I don't want to be mad at Liz.
There's so much at stake with us doing this show. And I don't know if anyone realizes it, because there could be something, if we're not agreeing on something, one of us could take it very personally, and it could be the end.
It'll be me. No.
Yeah. Well, I have a feeling of anybody, you'd probably take what I said, perhaps not well, because I hadn't heard from you via text. After I knew you watched it, I said, she might be concerned that I don't like it and is waiting. That's why I was like, I better check in and let her know how much I'm liking it.
Well, and that's exactly because when I made the mistake of going on Instagram for 3 seconds, I'm not even kidding. My entire algorithm is still Heated Rivalry, holiday Christmas books, and panda bears, because when I'm stressed, I like to watch panda videos. So when you go to look at my feed, that's all it is. But the first thing that popped up, because I wanted a panda bear fix, was someone who, again, not anyone I follow, complaining that we didn't get any Shane and Ilya. And I'm like, obviously that person hasn't read the books or understand what the heck's going on, because they're wrong. But yeah, I thought, oh no, is Liz gonna, because I knew you didn't read this one. And I'm like, are you gonna be annoyed like this person? And I'm like, it was too good. I'm like, I will wait. I will be quiet, because I was just squealing and crying because it was so freaking good and heartbreaking. And again, like, the vibes. I love how even in the fact that it was like a 45-minute episode, we got a feeling of how lonely Scott is. We got a feeling of how hardworking Kip is, how close he is with his father, how he has his friends, this whole found family. Like, I feel like they put so much into those 45 minutes. It just blew my mind. The only thing I don't like about the fact that they put so much into one episode is now I feel like we're going to get cheated on like a full season of them. Like, they do pop up in future books, like they all do, because it's, a connected universe, for lack of a better phrase. But I was kind of hoping it would be like in the second book, where like we know what happens to help with Shane and Ilya's story. But it's tough, because I don't want to not have a lot of Shane and Ilya in episode 5, but damn it, I want more Kip and Scott too. So
I agree 1,000%. Do you have any other notes to add?
Oh, the only other thing I put down that we haven't mentioned, the scene where Kip and Elena are at the first game, and Scott keeps skating past, and like he's kind of like making a face, and then he kind of does the little wave, and she's just like, well, wave back. There was something so adorable about that scene where like Kip just did his little wave, and then Scott smiled and waved. I'm just like, oh, my heart. It was just so like, and again, I feel like that, 30-second scene just like it added to their backstory and the connection, and there was just something so damn cute about it. I'm like, oh.
And you just reminded me of another reason why I love their story so much, is that I am a fan of the celebrity normie trope.
Yes.
And Scott is like a huge, hockey celebrity. Kip's whole thinking was, oh, I'm not that important. Like, he's just being nice. Gave me these, like, why would he be paying attention to me? He's got a game to play. And here Scott was taking time to nod at him and wave at him. And I was like, oh my God, I love this so much. I know.
It's too good. It's too good.
Join us next week when we recap and review Heated Rivalry, episode 4, titled Rose.